This is the last slide of this lecture, and in some ways the most confusing, but it can be simplified. So I'll teach you the simple version and then go into the more complex version. The first thing you need to understand is what for this process to happen, calcium must be released from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. And what they love to ask is, what does that calcium bond to? And it bonds to troponin. So remember, troponin is this globular molecule on the thin filament on actin. And when the calcium bonds to it, it moves the smaller, kind of thinner tropomyosin ribbon, and that exposes binding sites for myosin, the little golf club heads, to stick to actin. So when I talk about the myosin molecules ratcheting and sliding the thin filament, the actin, for all that to happen, you got to have calcium bonding to troponin, which moves tropomyosin so the golf club head can stick. If my hand is actin, then my fist is the golf club myosin head. For that sticking action to happen, we need to have calcium binding to troponin. So then the simple version is just to say when that happens, that makes what's called a cross bridge. That's a key term you can use. And then you can, again, keep it simple. If it's an essay question, keep it simple and just say as ATP hydrolyzes to ADP, there's a ratcheting or power stroke movement of those golf club heads. And they only show you like one golf club head, but there's multiple ones. So think of it more like my fingers moving along and ratcheting along and making that thin filament move. So as ATP hydrolyzes the ADP, there's multiple power strokes of those myosin heads sliding the filaments, and that's what causes the muscle contraction. There are calcium pumps in the sarcoplasmic reticulum that when the muscle relaxes, the calcium gets pumped back up, and that's what causes the muscle to go back and relax as those binding sites get covered by tropomyosin again. Now, if you want to remember the smaller little details about how when ATP attaches to the myosin head is when the cross bridge is broken, and when it hydrolyzes to ADP plus a phosphate is when it ratchets back into its high energy state and then sticks to make the cross bridge. And when the inorganic phosphate falls off, it causes the power stroke ratchet, and then eventually the ADP falls off. If you want to remember all those details, feel free. I've never seen IB ask that though, those littler details.